All right, we are live. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atheist Coder Stallion. We back at it once again. In today's live stream, we're gonna be talking about gun control, why bad, and its fascism. Technically, in the sense of gun control alone, gun control is technically a left-wing idea. It's been promoted in the sense of tyranny by the government. For me, like, I don't know if I told people, but I've actually looked into being a anarchist. I know people may think I'm wild, like I don't, believe in authority, but I feel like authority comes to you first, before anybody else could say that they need to control other people for a better society, which I truly disbelieve that. Humans are very intelligent, you know, I don't know what you want to call us, creatures, apes. I call ourselves intelligent machines. We have a sensibility to know right and wrong, but when we do wrong, we know that there comes a cost when people decide to hurt other people. In the sense for gun control, that right of you hurting someone is now taken away, and you have to rely on the entity known as police to do that job for you. And for many cases of gun control, we've seen it in many times of our past. The Nazis, they disarmed Jews, and the Germans, they were completely okay of taking Jews' right to own a gun. And when certain Jewish people fought for their rights to have a gun and shoot, the Germans that that wanted them dead, they walked off, and they were able to defend their freedom. Another good example would be the Battle of Tennessee, 1946. I believe that the government at that time was trying to take away people's guns, and the people won. And the government managed to fail to take away their guns because, like I said, the people, they come out stronger rather than the government, because the government thinks that they have that right to take away your gun. I personally believe that the NRA is a bunch of faggots. I don't like them. I don't hate people who are in the NRA. I just think that in the sensibility of knowing what is right and wrong, of having a gun, like that shouldn't have to be politically talked about. Like for me as an anarchist, like I don't really think politics is really needed, because it's like, why listen to a leader? Like, why have to protect what the White House from people that are going to try to get their asses in to corrupt people's rights every 4 years? So with you voting into that system, you're putting more flame into the fire. You want to get people killed. You want to have people's lives destroyed, and you want to put more pressure onto people's lives. You don't really care about people's lives, and the reason why I feel like people who are pro gun control that do these things is that, if you take a look back into history, like let's talk about slavery. The Democrats that pushed for gun control back in slavery, they were in favor of disarming black people. Black people in America at the time of slavery could not own a gun. For free blacks, they were able to have a gun, but when slaves had a gun, they were killed. And the evidence that I have is, I think it was a Shays Rebellion. Somebody correct me on that, but it was there was actually a few slave rebellions, and I feel like one of them was the Shays Rebellion, but that rebellion consisted of a few white people down south, and I think Charlottesville, I believe, and that was in Charlottesville, South Carolina, not Virginia. But basically, there were multiple riotings of peaceful, white landowners, along with, the black slaves that wanted to get away from the slavery down south, which was, overrun more by blacks than whites. But no, like white people and black people, they've had much love, before and after slavery. And, I always hate it when liberals try to say, like, oh, well, we need gun control to, reduce the amount of deaths in an area with guns. And it's like, No, an area with more guns is better because the good guy will go after the bad guy naturally in a gunfight. And that's true. Because if you take a look at it, Chicago has the strictest gun laws. And guess what? Chicago, they've had well over 1,000 plus deaths within like the past year. So I'm not going to cut it to say, yeah, like I'm not going to defend liberals to say, hey, liberals, you guys were totally right. Gun control is perfect. You know, people not having a fucking firearm, like that's literally like the perfect utopia after seeing loads of dead bodies being you know, put up into a fucking grave and people try to say like that's okay. Like I personally feel like that they're mentally fucking retarded. I don't think people who represent smart on like the left know how to use a gun. If you could tell me what the AR-15 stands for, I'll be happy enough to tell you that the answer is not assault rifle. It's called fucking Armalite. That is what the company that manufactured the AR-15. And then again, the AR-15 was introduced in what war? Definitely not fucking the Korean, but it came into Nam. That is when the AR-15 came into. That came in I believe in like the 60s or 70s, along with the M16. But I personally believe that having a gun gives you that protection. A gun is a man's best friend, as a dog is a man's best friend for protection, right? So I think that with a gun, that gives people the right to do those things that they want to do because they don't have people, trying to be on, yeah, trying to be on with their ass, trying to tell them, oh, well, I want to fuck with you every day, I want to rob you and shit, I want to come after you. But no, like having a gun really tells a criminal to get the fuck away. And people try to tell me, oh, well, we can get rid of criminals with a stun gun. And I'm like, trying to hear people use this argument saying stun guns are way better than an actual gun. But I'm sorry, but a stun gun will not take a person down. A stun gun will still have its defects, even if you miss, let the target alone. That person with the weapon, or basically, if you're going to really try your best to ban guns, that person's still going to find a way to make a weapon. Like, I could still kill 50 to 100 people with a knife versus a fucking pistol. I would have to reload, and depending on how many bullets I have for that pistol, I'm not going to be able to kill all 50 people. But with a knife, I could definitely kill more people with a knife. Do you realize that knife attacks have been higher over, gun attacks? And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like the same stat line of knife attacks being higher than gun stats, because when you really take a look at it, gun stats are really not that high. Like, I mean, I probably say less than 500 people really die in this country by a gun. And personally to me, like, I think that the reason why liberals get triggered over guns versus a conservative trying to listen to like a damn liberal to say, hey, we as the NRA, we're going to regulate these guns, but we'll make sure that these guns have a tracking system so you guys don't need to come bitch at us. So people can have their guns legally owned, but there's like a tracking system to know where these guns are. And it's like, no, it's fucking ridiculous. I personally believe that you cannot have a free society of having people having no guns, and that's somehow going to make criminals listen. I mean, criminals have been pretty fucked up lately, and I honestly have to say that a criminal is not going to listen to a law. Laws do not exist in this world, and people that say, oh, it doesn't give you the right to kill somebody, but yet we have a law stating that you shouldn't kill somebody. I'm sorry, but criminals will still find a way to kill you. They do not care. They will craft. They will make their own guns. People have that ability to make a gun. Like, do you realize how easy it is to literally build a gun? I don't think a lot of people understand, like, guns are not that hard to build, and pretty much most of our earliest versions of guns were built from wood. So if people really want to ban guns, you should start cutting trees down and start using them for houses. if you really want to try to get rid of people's right to own a fucking firearm. But I highly doubt it, because when you take a look at gun control, like, this is just really sad, but even for countries like Cuba, you cannot fucking own a damn gun in Cuba, because Cuban government will fucking kill you if you have a gun there. You cannot own a gun in fucking North Korea, because you want to know why? Because the Korean government will do the same thing as what? Oh, yes. They will do the same thing as the Cuban government to kill your ass and make sure you will never have a gun. This is how strict countries are when they use gun control. Fucking Australians want to tell me, oh, we have better lives than fucking like Americans because we have gun control? Guess what happens? 16% of crime gets boosted up after a year later when Australia decides to take away their guns or get rid of their guns, and the crime rate starts boosting up. Wow, Australians, you guys you guys seem to be very fucking smart with your fucking, decision making, and yet you let these criminals walk into your country, especially let the fucking Muslims just, disrespecting your laws, but, like, you guys allow these pricks to kill, rape, and steal from people. And that is literally how gun control works. You are just opening up more room for the criminal to walk in, destroy your fucking lives, and yet you're not going to say anything like about it. Because you want to know why? You want to have people dead. You don't care about the peaceful gun owner's life. You want to have people killed in the midst of just terrible legislation. You guys just don't give a fuck. Just oh wow, just fucking admit it, and just know that people don't want to be put in a safe society. And I personally believe that people just say that because they are too fucking afraid to know that more guns equals less crime. And, the reason, because is that when people do have, more guns in an area, naturally speaking, a criminal would not want to shoot up to 100 people with a gun, knowing that those people out of that 100 will have a gun. Like, literally, tell me one time where the Bloods and Crips or any of these gangs known in America goes after people with guns. They are not that stupid. They would want to go after people without the guns, because if they really wanted to take a real gunfight to the actual max, they're going to go out to some open ass environment where it's a gun free zone, and then they're going to kill innocent lives. That's really their whole intention. You're meaning to tell me that, oh, in a gun, in a gun owning state, it makes everything more difficult for peaceful, non-carrying like gunless owners, or basically people without guns. They're going to be the next victim to get killed by a gun, which I personally believe that is really bullshit, because when you do run the stats of how many people do get killed by a gun, they're pretty damn low. And as far as mass shootings in America, like, they're really not that big either. Like, I don't really think mass shootings are that big of a deal. But it's like, yeah, somebody will have that semantic to go about their way and start hurting and killing people. But does that mean that we as Americans need to start, enforcing more gun laws? No, gun laws don't work. That's like saying that you want to get rid of drugs and you're going to keep supporting the war on drugs, even though that the war on drugs is a failed program. But yet you're going to tell me that you want to have big government to go after these people who are peaceful, that are not that are not hurting anybody else except for except for themselves, to be drugged up, and they want to have the freedom to do what they want, and somehow they need to be thrown in jail for it? No. That is why that I'm so anti-government, because we all know that when the government is out of people's lives, people have that freedom to do what they want to do. People always want to try to say, "Oh, well, we need government. We need government. We need all this government to be morally correct in our lives." But yet they're, the ones trying to fuck people's lives over, kick people's houses down, shoot people down if they don't listen. And that's really how it works. Like, I think it's very, vigilant, and it doesn't provide the consensual safety that people pay taxes for. And even if you are proven innocent, you're still left with all this shit that, that the government tries to, throw books on you for because they want to get money out of you. I mean, I don't think any other society could ever tell me that their government is better than any other country's government because all governments are corrupt. People get killed consistently every day. And, not to mention, but didn't like fucking like, even for like the highest mass murder, for like America was like up to 50 or to 60 people. So, credits to fucking Omar Mateen being the loser Muslim he is to go out and kill, up to 50 people. Pretty much he probably killed more than that, but I mean for the Florida shooting, that has to be like one of the biggest examples to show why gun control is so stupid and why Democrats are going to get killed faster than a Republican. But I swear, like, America needs a revolution so Democrats and all these people in government can understand why our Second Amendment right is very important, because you guys do not have any fucking respect for our rights, and yet you want to take away people's right to own a firearm. It does not make any sense for people to say that you need to fucking be disarmed in order to live in a safer environment. And I'm sorry, that is not how things work. There are going to be bad people in this world, and I think that in order to make a better society with everybody united, you need to start having violence to the criminals that start to insinuate that violence. So when you do let these people get off of at the hook to say, hey, we're going to ban other people's right to own a firearm or have any sort of protection, but yet these criminals are not going to listen, don't you think that the criminal is going to find a way to get past that law? More so, it's not even that hard to get through like the law. The criminal just brings in more weapons to kill other people, and that's what happens. Like, I mean, after the Parkland shooting down in Florida, I believe there was a knife attack out in China, and I think over 100 people got injured, and I think 50 people got killed. But like this guy, he went fucking Mortal Kombat on everybody. Like he did not give two fucks. Like he fucking ripped everybody's life apart, and it just comes to show that I think knife attacks are definitely way more dangerous than gun attacks, because when you really take a look at it, pragmatically speaking, I could actually get away with killing 50 people, because if I really wanted to lock, every door inside a area, and let's just say that I'm inside like a building and I have 50 people inside that building, and I lock every door inside that building, I take out my knife, I start murdering people. Yeah, I can seriously get away with it. And like as far as people trying to fight back, like I don't really have too much of a competition unless if I'm going up against some guy that is military trained or knows how to fight, up against people with knives. But no, like a knife is definitely more lethal and volatile because a knife can do way more blood damage than a gun. Because with a gun, like you need to reload, you need to make sure that the safe is off, you got to check to see if your gun is clean. But with a knife, no, that's pretty easy. And no wonder why the government, they fear journalism more than they fear terrorism, because when you really take a look at it, when gun control is passed, that is what leads up more open doors for terrorism to exist more, because the terrorists will always go to the gun-free zone. A terrorist never goes into a gun owning zone, because that terrorist knows that those people are going to be, oh yeah, they're going to be on point, and they're going to have their fingers right up to, right up to let the to let the fucking trigger. Like these people are not that stupid. Like I mean, I don't think any terrorist or any criminal would ever think inside their dumb deluded mind to kill people in a gun owning environment. Like I don't think anybody has ever gotten like away with that, because even gun owners themselves would know that if someone's going to pull some crazy shit like that, no, it would be best that everybody shoots him and make sure that he's dead because I think that is like the hypocrisy of what liberals do because they're not smart, number one. Number two, they're fucking assholes. And number three, they promote the racist and segregation among, yeah, like they support the racism among segregation to have people be demonized having, weapons. And, they try to make it, so difficult to know the benefits of defending, yourself. So I personally believe in order for a society to be built on moral gratitude and moral, consent, you need to give people that firearm in order to find that peaceful balance of private property along with like the rights of people of their own humanity. So you can't force people to give up their guns because once you start doing that, that is where like the government will lose its power and the government will be defeated by the people because like the people are the last line out, yeah, last line of defense, before the government could try to make any move to say that they want to control, a society and fucking, yeah, and fucking, wow, manipulate them. But uh, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Gun control is a very dumb topic. Like you see it with many rulers, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Che Guevara. Like, I mean, these people all supported gun control. Like, these people were all pricks. So, for you guys standing behind them, fuck all of you. Um, Hopefully capitalism can, rave over all these countries and every government gets killed off of like this fucking map or like the whole world map. But yeah, yeah. Oh wow, yeah, guys. But I'll see you guys later. More topics coming onto the way, and yeah, I'll talk with you guys soon. Bye.